That there are no justifications for the missing money. There are some theoretical explanations. Oh, convenient. Only the best for Scam Sam, of course. Welcome back, guys. Always good to see you. Today, the 12th day of Scam Sam's trial. There was a lawyer that used to work for FTX, and he put Sam in a very touchy position. He had some pretty eye-opening statements. But this guy, lawyer for FTX, which helped them draft a lot of their legal framework, he also cut a deal with the prosecution to the point where as long as he tells the truth, he won't be prosecuted. After the whole collapse, he took off. He took off for Japan, flying in from Japan just to testify against Sam. So I get that he wasn't working on the software side of the whole exchange. Still leaves kind of a bad aftertaste when you realize just how good his deal is with the prosecution. Apparently Ken's son went to school, undergrad in Toronto, then getting a PhD in electrical engineering at Princeton, and then moving on to Yale Law School. So big Ivy Leaguer. Only the best for Scam Sam. Course. So he was the first witness, and then they had someone from Third Point Hedge Fund. They called the managing director named Robert Borujerdi. I think I got that right. I think. Rolls off your tongue. Anyways, he came up to talk about how his firm got swindled. Oh, and before I forget, another major highlight is that Sam got his meds approved. His higher dosage, it got approved. So theoretically, he's able to focus and hopefully make the choice to get up and testify in his own defense. He can work on his Hail Mary plan for the defense. But overall, that is huge, huge news, super positive. And lastly, another crazy thing, this one coming from the bankruptcy court. This came out just yesterday or the day before, but it's absolutely misleading. And I find it odd, that, especially the headline, that it comes out at a time when it's pretty clear that Sam's case is going pretty badly, that Sam almost has no chance of walking away from this. Maybe he needs to send some more donations. Who the hell knows? Anyway, so the big news about the bankruptcy court is that supposedly FTX, led by John Ray, they're proposing to file an amendment allowing up to 90% of the funds currently available for FTX to be returned to the creditors, meaning the people FTX owes money to. Of course, like all things in life, there's a catch, or there's actually multiple catches. But first of all, a lot of the stuff that was held by FTX has decreased in value, especially if it was crypto assets held in a certain coin. Their values have basically gone kaput. On top of that, they're going to separate the customer pools where most people are going to fall under are going to be people with less than $250,000. And they say that that category, that they will get and can accept a settlement without any reduction of claim or payment. I put this in quotes because the wording sounds very good and it sounds very flowery, but when you actually look into it, so they call this the preference settlement, the legal term used in bankruptcy cases. I looked it up on ABA, American Bar Association. So generally speaking, you get pennies on the dollar, essentially. So in their proposal, for those holding 250K or under, they would fall under this preference settlement with the potential of getting back 15% of what you had at the time of the whole collapse. With a suggested 9 days on the exchange, whatever you had 9 days prior on the exchange, as long as it's under $250,000, you fall under this preference settlement. So 15%, that's 15 cents on the dollar. And of course, you have to take into consideration that all of those things have fallen in value. You know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of the other coins, so 15 cents on the dollar, potentially crypto that already had lost 50%, 80%, whatever percent. They're saying that pennies will be returned. So the headline sounds good, and of course it's being spun in a very positive light. You know, CoinDesk headline, FTX plans return 90% of customer funds. Customers expected to receive over 90% of distributable value worldwide if this plan is approved. Sounds good. It sounds good. I'll give him that. Alrighty, so Can's son, the witness. Can Son, that's his name. First name Can, son, last name. So the prosecutor started by asking him if he practiced criminal law. He says no. They ask him what his role was at FTX. He says he was general counsel. He was the lawyer for FTX. Right away, the prosecutor asking, did you ever approve lending FTX customer assets to Alameda? He said no. Objection. Sustained. Surprising. Sam's lawyer, Mark Cohen, he said it was leading. Prosecutor asking, what, if anything, did you approve about lending to Alameda? Mark Cohen again, objection. But it was overruled. Witness son says, I never approved loans of FTX customer funds to Alameda, that it was segregated. It was supposed to be segregated. Asked what the purpose of that was, witness says, so as not to misappropriate. Prosecutor asking what was the defendant's, Sam, what was his role in proposing key principles of how customer assets should be treated, with Sun saying that he was central, he was the central figure, and said that the assets were segregated. Sam said this. Prosecutor asking, what were you saying to the regulator? And he was saying that the customer assets were safe. Mark Cohen chimes in and he wants to have a word with the prosecutor and the judge, all three together on the sidebar. They convene, they talk, they come back. Then the prosecutor asks the witness, did you ever hear Sam describe the FTX liquidation protocol? Saying yes, there's a liquidation protocol, and if necessary, that they use the insurance fund, that if the insurance fund gets depleted, then there would be socialized losses, but that FTX was proud to have avoided that. Prosecutor asking, why was this a sellout for FTX? With the witness saying that on the other exchanges, that what they would do is that they would do clawbacks from those who made profits. And of course, the traders, they don't like that. Asked by the prosecutor, were you aware that Alameda Research was exempt from auto liquidation? He said he was shocked. Prosecutor asking, what were you told? Can Sun, pointing fingers now, he says that it had never been triggered and that Scam Sam and Nishad did not want to replace it. Okay, then the prosecutor moves on. They want to talk about the terms of service from FTX. So prosecutor shows an exhibit. They're saying this is an email from Can Sun. The prosecutor asking, so you linked to the new FTX terms of service? Can Sun said yes. Asking if he recognized the piece of evidence, he says yes, that it was the new policy, that it applied to FTX.com. Asked who approved it, he said Sam Bankman-Fried and Nishad Singh. Then the prosecutor showing some kind of list of people, investors, companies that had put money invested in FTX. Prosecutor asking, do you see the Ontario Teachers Pension Fund? Witness saying, yes, I do. How sad is that? Teachers' pension funds, they're putting money on crypto exchanges. Pretty bizarre. Apparently Skybridge was on there, hedge fund from Scaramucci, and also the name Mark Cuban, another Shark Tank guy. So it's not just everyday folks that got swindled by Scam Sam. Prosecutor asking, what did you tell investors about FTX's relationship with Alameda? Objection, hearsay. Prosecutor saying not offered for the truth. Overruled. Witness says that he told them that they were totally separate. Asked, what was your view of Alameda lending money to the defendant so that he can make investments? Can Sun, the lawyer, he says that we did not know that they were customer funds. Prosecutor brings up some kind of binder with a defense exhibit. Asked to describe what it was, he says that it was the loans to the founders. Prosecutor asking, how much is this loan from Alameda to Sam? Witness saying it was $360 million. Prosecutor asking, would you have documented loans that had involved the use of customer funds? Objection, overruled. Witness, Can Sun, saying no. Prosecutor showing another spreadsheet, asking about those, which apparently were totaling over $2 billion. Prosecutor showing another spreadsheet to the prosecution. Speaking of the spreadsheet, they say Alameda General Ledger transfer to Sam Bankman-Fried, $4 million. Were you aware of that? He says no. Asked, did you get a loan yourself from Alameda? He says yes, $2 million. Asked, Mr. Sun, do you have an agreement with the US government? Witness says yes, a non-prosecution agreement. He said as a general counsel that he was involved in transactions that may have involved the misappropriation of customer funds. Okay, prosecution moves on to a phone call with Apollo. Witness saying that he was put on a call without much context, that Ramnick was on it, and that he asked for information, and so he was given a spreadsheet from either Sam or Ramnick. Apparently this took place in the Albany apartment down in the Bahamas. Now the prosecutor asking, what did you see? What did you learn? The witness saying, oh my God, this is when he learned. He says he was shocked that there was $7 billion missing. Shocked. Who the hell knows how much he actually knew? Seems odd that general counsel at FTX would have zero clue. But anyways, keeps getting more interesting. Prosecution asking, what was Nishad doing? Can Sun saying that Nishad was pale and gray. I mean, look at this guy. He's not pale and he's nothing close to gray. They're all just so innocent. Poor Nishad. If you haven't seen the video yet, court lying video, Nishad is caught in a lie, exposed by Sam's defense lawyer, Mark Cohen. On top of that, this guy walking in and out of court with his smug face and his girlfriend's smiling like she's super happy and tickled that they get to enjoy their millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Prosecutor asking, what did you conclude from the spreadsheet? Witness saying that the funds had been misappropriated. Prosecutor asking, did you share this info with Apollo? Son saying that he actually gave them the spreadsheet. Now this is where it gets interesting here. Can Son, he's saying that Sam, that Sam told him that Apollo wanted a legal justification for the missing funds and that Sam had asked him to come up with one. Prosecutor asking, did Sam provide any justification? Witness said no, that he was not told anything. Asked, did you explore any justifications? He said no. So maybe if Can Son is a straight shooter, maybe that's the moment when he realized, hey, the jig is up. And maybe that's the moment where he actually saved his own ass by turning down this request by Sam to make these legal justifications. Can Son goes on to say that Sam told him that Sam requested that they walk together before he spoke with Apollo again, saying that he told him, Can Son told Sam, that there are no justifications for using customer funds, that there are no justifications for the missing money. But there are some theoretical explanations. Oh, convenient. With the prosecutor asking, what were they? Can Son's coming up with theoretical explanations. He goes on to say that Section 9 of their terms of service, there was a spot there for escheatment. Escheatment is the process of a financial institution handing over unclaimed property to its state. That includes bank accounts, assets, or any property that's unclaimed for an extended period of time. That this could be their theoretical explanation, with Can Son saying this could not explain it. So I guess they explored the option of using this, saying that he also previewed a few other theoretical explanations for billions missing, but told Sam that they were not supported by the facts, with Can Son saying that Sam acknowledged this. Prosecutor asking, how did Sam respond? Can Son saying, I expected a bigger response, but all that Sam said was that he got it, that he didn't even seem surprised. Interesting. He has no soul after all. Then he said that Nishad called him around 11 at night, called him aside at 11 at night, and asked about his personal exposure, Nishad's personal exposure, all on the loans that Nishad had taken. So at this moment, they realize that the ship is sinking, it's about to collapse, and of course the rats are looking to jump off. Nishad's just such an innocent young boy. It's just not his fault. Prosecutor asking, what did Nishad tell you about his conversation with Scam Sam? He said that Nishad had only found out in late summer of 2022 and that Sam told him that it is what it is. Can Son saying the next day he resigned. Next, the prosecutor moved to show some kind of clip from Good Morning America featuring George Stephanopoulos asking Sam some questions about FTX, about the whole thing. And that clip from Good Morning America was dated December of 2022, so after the collapse. Alrighty, so now cross-examination. Mark Cohen asking, you worked for Fenwick. Can Soon answered yes. Mark Cohen saying after you moved over to FTX, and if Fenwick remained outside counsel. Witness said yes. Mark Cohen, always a sharp guy, he says, so you took out a $2.3 million loan. And then you got yourself a nice $2.3 million bonus from FTX. With Can Son actually saying, well, it was actually $3.5 million bonus. So Mark Cohen asking if the loans that he took and his bonus, if they were connected, with the witness saying yes, but that they were both about his employment. Mark Cohen asking if he tried to get FTX licensed. He said yes, that all the competitors were getting fined all over the world. So he was trying to set up FTX to get full licensure as much as possible. Asked if he was successful, he answered that he was able to get a good number of licenses. Mark Cohen asking what percentage of FTX assets were participating in the margin lending program. Objection sustained. Mark Cohen asking if the funds were mixed. Witness saying that the wallets were combined with crypto and fiat. He was asked if he has heard of Signal and Slack. He answered yes. Asked if they were used by the FTX legal team. He said yes. So of course Signal using end-to-end encryption, and on top of that, auto deletion if you put that option on. Mark Cohen bringing up Nishad now. You said that Nishad was worried about the loans he had taken out, that he told you that. Answering yes, that Nishad was worried about repaying them back. Asked about his non-prosecution agreement. Mark Cohen saying, and you could be prosecuted if you don't tell the truth. The truth. He said yes. Asked if he signed this just in October of 2023. He said yes. That was it. So now they do a brief redirect, meaning the prosecution asking Can Sun again a few questions. You signed on October the 17th, 2023. Did you ever speak with the government before that? He said yes. Wow, so he just cut a deal literally less than 48 hours ago. Pretty interesting. Who the hell knows? Maybe the prosecution was kind of desperate to get a little bit more fireworks in the courtroom before their portion of the trial is over. So he signed 17th, just a couple of days ago. Asked, where did you come from to testify? He said Japan, that he wanted to come to testify. And that was it for Mr. Can Sun from Japan. Alrighty, next up is Mr. Robert Bourougerdi from Third Point Hedge Fund. Asked where he was in 2021, he says, Third Point. They show a document as evidence. Asked about a March 2021 call, the data in the documents. He said yes. Asked if he had a conference call with the defendant. He said yes. That it was a Zoom call led by Sam. That he was in his New York apartment. He was in Hong Kong at the time, and that they talked about the risk engine, with him saying that Sam, that Scam Sam, said that this risk engine took out the human emotion. Well, it certainly took out something, right? Prosecution asking, where did Alameda come up? Bourougerdi, he replied, yes, that Sam had told him that he had started it and that they were independent of FTX. Prosecution asking, did you know if Alameda Research was exempt from the risk engine? He said no, that Third Point would not have invested and that there should be no preferential treatment for Alameda in regards to FTX. Asked if he met the defendant. He said yes, at a Miami event, and also in New York in the Hudson Yards, co-hosted by Circle, and also a fireside chat hosted by JP Morgan, also in New York, that Romnick had called him to invite him. Prosecutor asking, did Romnick tell you that FTX had a hole? Objection sustained. Prosecution rewording, did you become aware FTX was facing financial difficulties? Bourougerdi says that he actually saw tweets from a trade publication, probably a crypto news site. And that was it. That was it for Mr. Robert Bourougerdi. Hope I got that right. I'll be proud if I did. So they decided to take a break up until next Thursday, and apparently the prosecution will rest their case on Thursday. And maybe, just maybe, it's looking like the defense team will start their case also on Thursday, next Thursday. What's interesting is that the prosecution is kind of framing the whole argument. They're not really bringing in conversations about crypto in particular. That's pretty interesting, I think. I'm super excited to hear about the crazy, ludicrous, insane ideas that the defense team is gonna come up with as excuses. I mean, it's hard to even imagine the crazy excuses they would come up with, especially after so many friends, confidants, co-workers, and co-conspirators all got together behind Scam Sam's back just to, well, stab him in the back. Should be pretty exciting, pretty epic. Well, that's it for this one, guys. Well, thanks for spending time with me. Please don't forget, smash that like if you haven't, and also subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.